This Ag News Update brought to you by American Implement, indebted to the past, committed to the future. In a moment, Assistant State Climatologist, Dr. Mary Knapp.
The cost of everything has gone up dramatically over the last 75 years. With one exception: keeping electricity affordable.
Wheatland Electric, delivering energy for life, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
S&S Trailer Sales, with 2 locations in Ness City, Kansas, is where everybody goes to buy or rent trailers. They feature the all-new, all-aluminum Mauer grain trailer with all of the electric options, the easy-to-load detached trailers, and a huge stock of header trailers. At the west location, you'll find bumper poles, goosenecks, and oilfield specialty trailers, along with flat and utility beds for pickups. S&S Trailer Sales in Ness City and on the web, but remember, you do have to spell out the "and."
And joining us is Mary Knapp, who is the state assistant climatologist. Mary, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me.
Well, it seems like as we're in the middle of May, we'd be talking about a very warm spring, but that hasn't quite happened. So we'll talk more about maybe what to expect this winter and maybe moving on from there. But in this first segment, I want to talk about something that continues to be a very valuable tool, not only for farmers and ranchers, but really all Kansans. And this is the Mesonet and the project that is giving very solid weather data to really anybody that needs it or wants it.
Right. What we have is, as you noted, the Mesonet. Mesonet is a network of automated weather monitoring stations. The roots of our Mesonet actually go back to the 1980s, 85, 86, where stations were set up at the research and experiment fields across the state. Technology was not as advanced at that time. We could store on our data logger less than what you could store on your phone in current times, but we do have hourly and daily data for a wide range of parameters going back to that time frame. The value, as you noted, has continued to grow on that. So we started expanding in the late 1990s and into 2000, and now we're up to 74 stations. In that time, we've changed configuration a little bit. Back in the earlier day, like I said, we just had hourly and daily data, and we only had a limited number of parameters that we were measuring. As computing technology expanded, we expanded what we were monitoring. And so in addition to temperature, wind speed, wind direction, solar radiation, and soil temperature, we've added the soil moisture data to help keep a handle on that underground component of the climate. And we also added barometric pressure. So those are, and the third component is we went to 30-foot towers so that we could have both the near surface measurements and slightly higher measurements. And that's been particularly useful in checking out things like inversion, which is critical when you're looking at spraying.
Well, Mary, if folks want to learn more, maybe see the Mesonet location closest to them, how can they get access to that?
The easiest way is going to our website, and that is mesonet.ksu.edu. You can access it from your home computer. You can also access it from your smartphone, either Apple or Android. And one thing that we did when we designed the website is that we made it mobile friendly. So it's not an app, but you can put an icon on your desk, on your phone's main page and access it directly. One of the advantages of having it as a mobile-friendly website is that if they upgrade your phone's operating system, you don't lose the functionality of the website. It's still there.
Very good. Mary Knapp, who is the Assistant State Climatologist for Kansas, she's out of Kansas State University, is joining us. Let's take a break. We're going to talk about maybe what to expect and what's going on with this weather. We'll do that when we return.
Would you like to see something done about high gas prices and low unemployment? Western Place Energy in Campus, Kansas is doing something about it. They're a proud part of Growth Energy, America's ethanol supporters, and they employ 38 people and will be adding more following the expansion. Ethanol fuel not only reduces the cost of regular gasoline, it's good for the environment and keeps money right here in the United States while supporting local rural jobs. Western Plains Energy, doing something for the future.
Wolfter Construction and Irrigation has been around a long time, and a lot of folks have trusted them to design, build, and service all sizes of commercial and on-farm storage for grain and equipment. Wolfter is also known for their outstanding irrigation division, where they stock a complete selection of nozzles, regulators, drops, gear drives, electrical, and structure components. Looking for an electric motor? Wolfter has a large selection in single and three-phase. Next time, reach out to the pros who have decades of experience at taking care of business the right way. Wolfter Construction and Irrigation.
And Dr. Mary Knapp is joining us. She is the Assistant State Climatologist for Kansas. And Mary, it's been a very interesting winter where maybe we didn't see the extreme bitter temperatures and big snowfalls that some had predicted. But the spring, it seems like it's taken a while to kind of get things going on a consistent basis. So I guess the first thing is what's going on and what can we expect? And what about all this talk about climate? Has Kansas changed a lot?
Well, Kansas has changed a little bit, but it's kind of hard to pull out the details on that because we have such a variable climate. When you look at the extremes that we've seen this spring, you look into our historical records and you say, well, okay, they're extreme, but they're not unprecedented. We've had them in the past. One thing that we've noted, as you said, is that the springtime has been pretty elongated, if you will, and we haven't been able to really shake our winter as witnessed by the snow that we had in April. And again, that's not our latest snow, but it is certainly not something you see every year. Soil temperatures, excuse me, soil temperatures have stayed fairly moderate over the time, but they haven't warmed up as quickly as we would expect in the springtime. One of those factors has been we've seen some rainfall in the recent days, maybe not quite as much as we normally would see, but we do see a favorable pattern, particularly in the Northwest, where the rains have been very timely and in very beneficial amounts. In contrast, the Southeast looks, if you just look at the numbers, like it's doing pretty well. It's close to normal, maybe slightly above normal. But when you dig into it, you find that most of that was due to a heavy rain event in March with very little rain in April. And you're going, well, the distribution hasn't really been as favorable as we would like. At the moment, as we're speaking, we are seeing some rain out in the western parts of the state. Some places of west central Kansas have seen over an inch in the last 24 hours. So again, very beneficial for the winter wheat. Get it in there at the time when we're moving into our critical growth period.
I think probably the biggest question on folks' mind is what can we expect this summer when we're right in the middle of the prime growing season, when the corn is pollinating and soybeans are starting to bloom? What possibly could we expect?
Well, unfortunately, the current 3-month outlook, which is for May, June, and July, is favoring warmer and drier than normal across the state. And that, of course, is not what we would hope to see at the critical time period. Rains that we've had in April and May can quickly fade if we move to warmer, windy weather, which we typically get in the summer. And if it's even warmer than usual, that's going to be a challenge. It is worth noting that the Climate Prediction Center, which makes those outlooks, updates that on the third Thursday of every month. So next Thursday, they will release a new update for the rest of the summer season. And it's worth going to that site, checking it out, and seeing if maybe a slightly more favorable outlook is materialized.
All right, Mary. Well, wish we could talk weather probably the whole time, but we've got to keep moving. So we sure appreciate the update. And again, encourage folks to check out the Mesonet to get a good idea of not only what's happening in your area, but maybe other parts of the state as well. So Dr. Mary Knapp, who is Assistant Climatologist for the state of Kansas, located at Kansas State University, has joined us. Stay with us. More in a moment.
When you've had a best friend for over 50 years, you develop a trust. And the Scott Co-op has been a trusted rural friend since 1957. A co-op keeps money in the area, doing business for and with their members. And that helps keep their hometown thriving with keeping money in the community. Scott Co-op is not just an elevator. It's the rural way of doing business. So, when you see an elevator, remember your friends at Scott Co-op.
1030 KBUF has agriculture information beginning just a little bit after 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday. We will have market updates, ag news, weather, and a whole lot more. Also follow along on our social media pages. I'm Ken Rajas. Thanks for watching.